you read through the email. In
Yeah.
terms of communication and what forms of writing you use on a daily basis, I'm assuming most of it's email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like percentage wise for you, what would you say writing and communication is done through?
Um, that's really a hard one to answer. I have a feeling even if I guess high, I'm underestimating it. Um,
Really?
but if I look at my sent items last week, so there's only 4 emails on Friday and 2 on Thursday.
Really?
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on Wednesday. 7, 8, 8 on Tuesday. This was a pretty quiet week though. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 on Monday. So, but that being said, it's not like I'm a real busy guy.
In terms of
I guess I'd have to say
communication.
email is probably 60% of it.
Okay.
I mean,
That's actually
there are some
relatively
days
lower
where I
than I would
probably
have
write 20
assumed.
emails, and
Sure.
there's some days where I don't have any.
Right.
Um, yeah, last week I kind of played hooky and went to Menards a lot because I've been buying a bunch of stuff for the office.
New house and all that, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to get the second office built. There's another room next door that's um, it just needs flooring and some paint
Sure.
uh, to make it pretty. So I went and I bought all that.
Sweet.
But I'm trying to find a typical week where I've got
We're in
50.
the office a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's probably safe to say 60%.
Okay.
Um, I prefer phone calls, but most people send me correspondence. Hey, I need my website updated. Hey, I need a request for quote. Hey, I need this, that, or the other thing. And they usually email me about that.
Okay. That's around 60%. Otherwise, pretty much phone for the rest of it, really.
I prefer phone.
Okay.
Yeah, phone and then Skype or texting. I've
Okay.
got a client now that I do a lot of texting with, mainly because he's an old buddy, but we text most of our stuff, so a lot of emails don't get picked up because we're texting.
Right. Okay. Um, it's really interesting to me. The big thing with me, I guess, here is like in terms of professional communication. I don't know. I've had my own experiences. Like I had a little internship with Fox 55 when they were still operating and stuff, and that was
Yeah,
like, I mean, they just showed up somewhere and talked to whoever they're supposed to talk to. Like at Scotty's when they were filming Green and Gold Gridiron, there, like it was the most casual thing in the world, and like the way my dad might communicate with some clients, depending on who they are, has been really casual. So I guess for me, professional communication is kind of hard to imagine. The stuff that we've been working with has been like how to write a memo correctly, and this is the format you should use, which is like I'm sure that's useful in particular office jobs, but I'd hope not to see myself in that position. I suppose. Depend. I mean, I have no idea, but
it's funny. There's a sometimes you email somebody so that you have a traceable course of action.
okay.
So I don't always email just because I just feel like emailing them. Um, I guess there's two important ways of emailing. A, I don't want to talk to them, or they don't want to talk to me. They just want to fire off an email and get it done. They don't want to have to pick up the phone and waste 5 minutes.
Right.
Um, so that's one reason somebody will email.
All
It's
right.
a message, and I don't have to. I can say thank you, or your work is done, or post this document to my website, and I don't need a phone call about that.
Yeah.
Uh, but sometimes the communication gets really political, and
Hmm.
so maybe they're asking you to do something, or maybe it's the fifth time you've asked them to do something, and you need a trace to basically a CYA. I want to cover your ass. I want to make sure that they know that I've done my homework or done the work that I've said I was going to do. Maybe I've alerted that there's a problem. If this continues, something's going to break, or there could be a lawsuit over this, or something like that. So you want to email politely and professionally to ensure that there's a traceable call of action. And sometimes when you're doing that, you're also carbon copying their boss.
Sure.
Or maybe your daily connection is the project manager, but now you need to escalate the problem and you need to make this other guy aware of it. So you kind of email it to get that guy in the loop, and a phone call won't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll get caught in a he said, she said conversation over some silly, well, on the phone you said, oh, you're going to do this, and you can't prove that you said you weren't going to do that. So, but if you put it in an email, even if it's after the phone call, hey, these are the 5 things I said I was going to do.
Sure.
So and that's really what email is really good for, as well as, of course, including attachments.
Right.
Lately, depending on the client, we've started using bulletin boards for correspondence, ways of tracking who did what tasks. What else? Just to keep a to-do list, a general to-do list, because so one of the projects we're working on, the client's in Appleton, I'm here, the developers are all over the United States and across the pond. I don't even know where those other guys are. I think they're in Prague.
Wow! Holy cow!
Yeah, so I have no idea what that guy's doing, and he's working when I'm asleep. So you'll wake up and you'll get this big list of what the guy said he was going to do. And so it's like, okay, what did Sasha do? Okay, none of that is going to work. So now we need to, post to this message board about what's going on. So in that case, we have 2 weekly Skypes, emails on a daily basis, as well as people posting to this board. And that's so it can get kind of squirrely depending on how crazy the job is, but that's an exception to the rule, or I should say, that's big business stuff.
Okay.
Bigger clients. I mean, there's millions of dollars at stake on that job. So in that case, that's
that
where
kind of organization's kind of required.
Yeah, that kind of level of hand touching and hand holding kind of comes into play there.
Right, for sure. So that's that kind of 2 weekly Skypes, daily emails, a lot of posting to that bulletin board and stuff like that. That's big business. What is the typical small business kind of thing, besides maybe one phone call and a couple emails for questions, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are probably. I mean, so I'm definitely small business.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably 3 or 4 clients a year that I don't ever see, ever, whether it's Skype or otherwise.
Sure.
They just call me on the phone. They ask for a quote. I send it to them. They say yes, and we do the work, and that's it. So yeah, it's literally phone calls and emails, and that's it.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of what I assumed for the most part. The big business stuff makes a lot of sense to keep it professional and especially keep it traceable. So I guess that kind of answers one of the questions I was looking at.
Yeah, the tracing is that's always the biggest thing on who said who was going to do what, and right. Of course, so part of emailing is replaced, certainly for us, to 99.9% degree, faxing. So we don't have to fax contracts back and forth. You can just fax. I can just email the contract. They can scan it and send it back to me, and I can handle that part of the who's responsible for what. Yeah. And then the next part of the who's responsible for what is when they submit changes, I need to have some kind of written marching order that is something I can point back to in case I never told you to do that. Yeah, you did. Even then, it's hard to prove. Should you ever need that accountability, but
Yeah.
at least you have it.
Yeah, it's there for your use.
I still have clients that'll say, "I don't care if I told you to do it or not. I'm not paying."
Wow.
Yeah, like okay. Yeah. I had a client that after I did the work, submitted the logos, and everything, they just said, "We never hired you." It's like,
Come
I've
on.
been to your office 4 times. We've talked on the phone 3 times this week. What are you talking about? I never hired you. And another guy who claimed the same thing after 2 years, and I was trying to catch the last half of the payment, and he's like, "Well, do you even have a contract signed?" And I said, "Yes, I do. Would you like a copy of that?" He's like, "Prove it." So I sent him his signed contract, and then he wouldn't take my calls.
Wow.
Yeah, so yes, I can go hire a lawyer and go through all that, and 90% of the time I probably should, but I didn't. Just cut my losses, walk away. So yeah, once a year I probably get stung by something like that.
Jeez.
Even when you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, sometimes you still get bit in the ass.
Jeez. I mean, partially I expect that, but it's something you forget about, especially when in the college world everything's pretty perfect for the most part. There's those kind of problems. That never happens, but it does. My dad's got good stories about people.
Yeah. And some of the people that have stung me are the people that have stung him, or vice versa. And we keep each other abreast of that. That's one of the nice things of small companies and working closely with other people is when the bad news comes around, everybody hears of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, "Hey, this guy just stiffed me on that bill. You may want to check on it right now on your bill because I know you're involved too." And then everybody jumps on the guy at the same time, and then nobody gets paid.
Yeah, really, no one gets paid then. But I mean, at least That's kind of. I guess that's the right side to a relatively small town like Wausau. It's better than big city work, I guess, where a lot of that's probably corporate and such. I guess this is all really good. I mean, this is all I can easily create some kind of infographic out of this in an afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, lately it's weird. I'm not Skyping as much now.
Okay.
I'd say at the max that's ever been is maybe 15% of communication. Easily phone is 30, 40. If email is around 50, 60. Texting is got to be lower than that. I don't know if message boards or bulletin boards or things like that would count as another avenue. I would imagine it would.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, didn't fudge the numbers as much as you need to, but that's going to be somewhere between 2 to 5%. I'm trying to think of what those boards were called. I just canceled all my weekly meetings that were in those things because they're over now. But
right.
I have my own bulletin board. When I had interns and employees, and when I go back to that, we used our own personal bulletin board. There's a lot like the work ticket system that your dad has.
Yeah.
We use that on a regular basis, mainly for hour tracking more so than accountability.
Yeah.
But that would allow me to say, okay, how many hours did you work on Piper? What did you do last week? Because I have no idea what you did. I just threw stuff on your desk, and now I need to know, and
Sure.
I need to do billing. So how did you? What did you do, and who did you do it for? And I'll go through that work ticket site and collect the hours and submit it that way.
Right.
But so between our own work ticket site and other people's work ticket site, that's got to be. It's lower now. It's probably higher before, but I wouldn't rate it any higher than 5%. Meetings in person. I mean, that's got to count as a communication, right?
I would say so, yeah.
That's got to be higher than. Well, no, it doesn't. Trying to think what. When was the last meeting I had? uh, it was a while ago. I only have maybe, at the most, I have 1 to 2 a month. Sometimes 5. Like I might have like 3 or 4 in the next week, but then I won't have any for a long time.
Sure.
Because yeah, tomorrow I've got a meeting. Thursday I have another meeting. When it rains, it pours, kind of thing. So they come in waves.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with rating that is when I have a meeting and they're never short. They're always like 2-3 hours.
Yeah. That's
I wish they were short, but they never are. I've never had a half hour sit down in and out. That was great. Thank you. Bye. It's always end up acting as a consultant for an hour, trying to solve some guy's problem, hoping to get the job.
right.
So, is Herd's car door?
Who's that?
It's here. He's dropping off Scout.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know to rank that higher or lower than Skype right now. I guess probably higher. I have more meetings than not, and in theory I should count like golf as a meeting because that's really what that is a business communication thing where you meet once a week.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm also a member, although I haven't shown up in a couple of months because my chapter dissolved. But I'm a member of a BNI, which is a Business Networking International, and they meet once a week for an hour and a half to specifically you ask for work, and you have a 30-second presentation that you do, and basically say, hey, I'm looking for clients that are this, that, or that, or I want to meet Tom Hand at Gilman Cheese because I need to talk to that guy because I know I can do something for him, but I don't have a way to talk to him. So you can make specific asks. So that's another hour and a half a week that I'll be going back to. So that's maybe 5 to 10% maybe of meeting. Face to face, in person.
Sweet. Okay. Man, I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else.
Jumps much higher if I'm doing stuff for Piper.
Yeah.
So yeah, Piper, because of the volume of work we do for Piper, yeah, if we're a Piper heavy month, like we haven't been Piper heavy in the last 3 or 4 months, maybe 5, but we're jumping into really Piper heavy right now, and so that'll increase my phone calls by 3 or 4 a week, my emails by 3 or 4 a week, and probably my meetings by 3 or 4 a month.
Okay, wow.
And my text messages.
Yeah.
Because Mark works at Piper, and now Taylor works at Piper. They're both in marketing. So we have direct contact with both of them. Then there's Brad, that I also have to do a lot of stuff with Brad. So, so that'll mushroom.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of on that note about, suddenly you have Piper work and now, the amount of the workload kind of jumps. Do you have a particular time of year that you get a lot busier?
End of year is usually pretty busy. I always notice that Christmas is always pretty hectic. Spring is usually pretty slow. Let's see, my QuickBooks is up. Let me look at my graph. Home. Insights. Yeah, this year, and I think that's about right. January, February, March were pretty slow, and July was slow, and that feels about right. So if I go last fiscal year, January was bigger, but March was slow, May was slow, July was slow. July and August were very slow. funny. This graph isn't quite right. But yeah, I'd say that's about usually December, January is pretty busy.
Okay.
And the fall is kind of jumps. Like it'll slow down around Thanksgiving, and then it'll jump at the end of the year to the beginning of the year, and then it'll die for a little bit.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's usually pretty steady, but sometimes it just drops off to nothing. But then it'll be followed up by a twice as big month.
Right. Yeah.
So it'll go. Yeah, last year, at the beginning of the year, or was it this year? That was this year. First 3 months were so slow that it was crickets. It was like starting nail biting. Like, oh no, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We had a lot of correspondence. We had a lot of my daily tasks were extremely busy, but it wasn't generating any money.
Right.
So that was kind of a weird. What is happening? The money that we're doing is busy work, but it's not generating any income.
Yeah, it's not.
To speak of. So it was kind of a weird. This has been a really weird year. Arguably the biggest job we've ever had, followed up by some of the slowest months we've ever had.
Really? Okay.
So, yeah.
What's the time frame for a big job usually?
The last one was 3 weeks, which was unbelievable.
Really?
To pull off what we pulled off, yeah.
What'd you guys do?
We may have stretched it to 5 weeks, but you didn't hear about any of our diamond holograms?
Oh yeah, actually I have.
Yeah.
That's some pretty cool stuff.
So that was all part of it. Hi, Spencer. We did everything. So I kind of acted as a consultant on all parts of it, but we had to do. That's Matt.
Hey, Spencer.
Yeah. So we did the software inside the kiosk design itself. Very cool. Grandma gave that for you?
Yeah, it's white.
Cool. Will just be a couple more minutes, okay? We had to make, Mark and I had to make a 2-minute long video. We made 2 of them.
Okay.
That was the diamond story, which, I mean, just that video alone in the time frame we pulled it off in was amazing. The fact that we were able to work with the team and get the rest of that stuff done was crazy. I think within 5 or 6 weeks we had software written, the videos produced, more videos produced, the kiosk built, hardware installed. I mean, from imagination to a full complete smoke and
3
mirrors
weeks.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. So
Wow.
the software that we wrote, well, I didn't write it, but that was the team we had. We were working overseas and stuff. They didn't write the full software. We just got it looking like it worked.
Yeah.
It was a demo that just kind of worked. But it worked well enough where we got the attention of the viewers, and they liked a lot what they saw. So
Right.
So now we got to write the software and get the rest of it done.
Mm-hmm.
But that was crazy. But for a big website project, anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months.
Okay.
Big website projects, depending on what they are, the time frame isn't always about us. It's about the content. Is the client getting us the content?
Sure.
Can we work with it? So if it's a 100-page website, well, you have to write 100 pages. I'm not writing 100 pages. So whether we hire a writer or the client's providing it, and usually the client provides it, then we're just waiting on that content. So our part, we go do designs in 3 weeks, changes within another 2 to 3 weeks, and then we're ready to rock and roll on the HTML. And that's usually done within 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks total, to have it fully fleshed out. Placing content is nothing. It's super fast. Bless you. But yeah, we're always waiting for content.
Okay. Cool. Sweet.
behind me.
I think I got a really good amount of stuff here.